You are listening to the Lawyer Stories podcast with host Benny Gold. Lawyer Stories was founded in July 2017 on Instagram and is an expanding global network of lawyers and law students sharing their personal journeys to the noble profession of the practice of law. Join us on this podcast as we dig deeper into these stories and hear from lawyers and law students from around the world in all areas of the legal profession. Here at Lawyer Stories, we believe that every lawyer has a story. What's yours?
Welcome to the Lawyer Stories podcast with Benny Gold. Today we welcome in Jos Stevens, CEO at law firm Sites Incorporated, a digital marketing and web design agency specializing in helping law firms of all sizes thrive online, located in Lehi, Utah, but obviously helping firms everywhere. Joe, how are you? Welcome into the Lawyer Stories headquarters.
I'm doing good. I'm excited to be here and kind of share what we do and my story.
Yeah, for sure. We definitely you definitely do a lot of cool stuff, but we certainly want to start with your story, as that was interesting. As I read it. So you had a cool story of working your way up the ranks and purchasing law firm sites after being in various positions at the actual company. So tell us, so you went from office manager, project manager, COO. So how did you get, first of all, just tell us how you got started in the industry, like with SEO and law firm sites and why lawyers, just give us a little background.
Sure. So I actually started 18 years ago at law firm Sites. I was actually the janitor. I
Wow.
was a single mom. I had a 1-year-old and I needed a job. So my parents owned a janitorial service growing up, so I knew how to clean. So I answered a Craigslist ad to be a janitor.
Yeah.
I needed to work, right? And I had a baby to feed. So, the owner and I actually became just really good friends. And when the receptionist position opened up, he was like, "Would you like this position? It pays a little bit more. You've done such a great job. I'll teach you how to
Wow.
do everything." And I became the receptionist. And it's just one of those that kind of snowballs.
Amazing.
Yeah,
How long were you the receptionist for?
gosh, probably a year or two,
Okay.
where I moved up to, being a project manager, being like an SEO strategist, doing fulfillment kind of on the back end, learning everything that I could about web design, SEO. I soaked in every second of everything that I could get working my way up.
So how do you make that jump from being like an admin or the secretary or an office manager rather, to a project manager?
Well, I made myself irreplaceable. I proved that I was the hardest working one in the room, even when nobody was looking to see if I was the hardest working one in the room.
Yeah.
I did a lot of just education on my own and showing that, hey, I could answer the questions that the owner, that the higher ups were looking for, whenever we were in meetings. I was overly prepared all the time
Wow. Okay. I
on
like
what I
that.
was doing. Yeah.
And you must have been interested in the subject matter too. Like it wasn't any old reception job. You probably were like, hey, this is like pretty cool. Like when did you realize that it was actually like kind of a cool industry that you were in?
I think I realized it when I kind of found out that I was really good at helping people and solving their problems.
Okay.
Um, and I think I realized what was good in me and was able to expand on that. I was always one of those kids growing up that was jealous of somebody that wanted to be an astronaut or a treehouse maker or had these dreams and then were able to fulfill it. I never knew what I actually wanted to do. I think that I learned what I wanted to do by figuring out what I was good at. Um,
Yes.
this became so interesting. I have a design eye anyway. I love design. It was more kind of interior, but web design just came very, very naturally to me, and I couldn't get enough of it.
Wow. So take us through like the well, not the 18 years, but I guess how long ago was it that you bought the law firm sites?
So my husband, my current husband, not the other one that I left, single mom.
We can
We
talk
bought
about that later if you want
yeah,
to.
yeah. We bought it in October of 2020. So
Okay.
we're right on 4 years that we've had the company, and our running joke is the company's doing great, never better, and we're still married. So that's
Amazing.
our level of success.
All right, well, congratulations on that.
Yeah.
Um, so, wow, you answered a Craigslist ad. I did that once too, and I'm still in the housing industry. It's crazy how that works. So, give us some advice for someone who's trying their best to stay in the business they want to be in, and but grinding and working their way up that ladder.
Yeah. Well, for me, especially being a boss now, I mean, I've been an employee longer than I've been an owner or a boss,
Yeah.
right? So I understand that. And hard work, I mean, I guess it depends on where you're at, does not go unnoticed. Coming in early, staying late, going that extra mile. I find that, again, like I said, kind of being the hardest working one in the room. I never wanted to be the employee that didn't know what they were doing, wasn't able to answer a question. So I was overly prepared. I'm generally
Okay.
overly prepared for everything I do in life. So
Do you,
that definitely helped me.
do you feel like you had an entrepreneurial spirit to you? Like you didn't really want to work for somebody for that long, and maybe like, you want to be your own boss?
I didn't at all,
Oh,
actually, at all.
okay.
I had no desire. I'm not one of those ones, yes, that I always wanted to start my own company. It just was one of those, it fell into my lap naturally of just how good I was at it. And I was like, I'm gonna run with this. Plus I enjoy it. So no, I didn't have goals and aspirations of that. I think that maybe that makes me good at what I do as well. I very much care about my clientele and them being successful a lot of times over my own success.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, that's, it's one of those, it's tough, but it's brought me here today.
Yeah. So, Joe, tell us about the services that Law Firm Sites offers.
Of course. So we create custom web design for law firms. We build everything on WordPress, but it is completely custom. We don't do any templates. You're not going to have the same website as the guy down the street that also hired us. We do everything absolutely custom to the firm and what they need and their branding. And then we also provide SEO services, so digital marketing, PPC, but our main kind of bread and butter and where we lie is in SEO. That's we've seen the best results.
I've talked to people about SEO a lot, and I don't know if I actually get it. I have some more specific. I think I do, but I actually have some more specific questions as we go about SEO.
Yeah.
So like, do you help with the branding at all, or do people come with you with their branding, or maybe you tweak it or refine it a little bit?
It seems like more often than not, when law firms come to us, they already kind of have a brand. They're
Yeah,
already working with something. It's very
sure.
rare that it's somebody brand new that has nothing.
Right.
So generally, we are just kind of helping to tweak that brand. It's rare if I'm doing a full rebrand, but we definitely offer it and can do it and have done it, a few times. But generally, they already kind of have a base of what their firm is and what their business is, that we just help them display it correctly, make sure that it's user friendly and it's going to actually rank and show up when people are Googling for them.
So does the name Law Firm Sites itself actually help with SEO?
It does. It does.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
not, see, I came up with that like thinking about this whole thing. I'm like, I wonder if just having law firm sites just
it does. It helps us a ton, and
tell me how that works.
well, it's funny, I wish I could take credit for it. Obviously, I didn't start the company, right? The prior owner had come up with that, and it was more at the time. He had started it in his basement and when he was in college in Hawaii, and
Yeah.
he just was like, it just makes sense. Why do I need to have this just short one name thing where we need to be, whatever it is, insert, random one syllable name here, but he was just like, I build websites for law firms. It just makes sense. I'm going to be law firm sites. And he actually was law firm websites at one point and then kind of whittled it down to law firm sites.
Wow. Okay.
Which rings a lot better. So
Yeah.
no, it helps us a ton with our SEO and with having a domain that has been online for over 20 years, and with that
Sure.
ranking. So that obviously contributes.
It's because it's such a popular, like, searchable
It is,
keyword,
yeah.
right? It's okay. So
Correct.
so why law firms, Joe? Like, how come you haven't like expanded to like doctors' offices or like,
Oh, we have.
no.
We have. And then I
Oh,
brought
okay.
it right back to law firms.
Okay.
So
Oh, okay. Okay.
yeah, and this is all, pre my husband and I purchasing law firm sites, but we with the, the previous owner and stuff, we went through a few different iterations of, hey, let's expand to dentists, let's expand to, med spas, let's
Sure.
do real estate. And it was funny because every time that we would kind of try to broaden it out, it's law firm sites was always the one that the clientele, it just can't be beat. We actually love working with lawyers. They have a
Okay.
certain of professionalism
Yep.
that they, they respect when you give back to them, and they want to be able to go practice law and just trust that everything else is going to be done. So as long as I can provide
Yeah.
that to them, so we have tried kind of going out into other things, and every single time I'm like, guys, it just doesn't feel right. We just need to, all efforts need to be on law and on law firm
And so
sites.
you
And
tried it maybe like dentist sites or
we
dentist
did.
websites or
We
that
did
sort of thing.
dentist
Okay, gotcha.
specifically. Yeah. Yes, we
Interesting. All
did.
right. Well, that's good though that you had to give it a shot, right? See how it
Oh,
went.
for sure.
So,
For sure.
so tell us, like, what does a typical day look like for you as a CEO of law firm sites? And how do you balance really managing your business and staying on top of like everything that's going on in the industry?
Sure, sure. Well, number one, I don't balance any of it. I wish that I could be one of those people that's like work-life balance. I don't. And that might not come across great to a lot of people, but I feel like I'm here today because I have had weeks where I've had to work 70, 80 hours, right? That,
Wow.
I've had to be in the weeds to get here. But now we're at a great point. We expect the unexpected most days,
Sure.
and we travel quite a bit for conferences, for meeting with clients, for speaking engagements. So
Okay.
I've learned to work on the fly very, very well. I've learned to stay on my laptop and have multiple screens on that on an airplane.
Yep.
Uh, when I'm in office, I like to be very interactive with my employees and with my teams, and catching up with them, making sure I know who they are and what they need, and that I'm providing a happy work environment for them daily. We go over more education. We have the employees teach each other on what the latest trends are, things
Okay.
like. So, I mean, a not so typical day in the life.
How big is your team right now?
We have 25 employees right now.
Oh, that's amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's huge.
Thank you. Thank you.
Um, so it's just websites, right? You're not doing like social media or any of that sort of thing?
We don't. We
Okay.
don't. I
Right.
mean, a very small portion of it, but that's what we don't really advertise that we do that. That's not really our specialty.
Okay.
But honestly, the majority of social media that we do is creating. We will create like the actual branding, like color
Yeah.
schemes, things like that. We'll create some design posts, but we don't actually really do the posting and stuff for our clientele.
So Joe, like how would you describe SEO? Like what is it? I mean, I know it's search engine optimization and then
Yeah.
like keywords and
Oh, describing SEO. So, I mean, like the easiest way to describe it is when somebody is typing in, "Hey, personal injury attorney near me," you want your website to be the first one that pops up, right? That is
yeah.
SEO. That is under the sponsored ads, which those are generally PPC, right? Those are paid advertising. That very first, one that comes up, that's your organic. That's not paid. That is exactly what you're doing on your website, putting out content showing that, hey, Google, I'm the best personal injury attorney near this person. Please show my website very, very first. So that,
That-
I mean, to be able to condense SEO is tough, but
yeah, I understand.
the ultimate goal of it.
Is to get it you first, ranking first on
Yep.
Google. Now, can that be in like a blog post or can the keywords be in a blog post or like anywhere else on the website? Is that
Of course.
basically
Yeah, they should be. And they should be. They should be multiple places on your website. They should be
yeah.
on your practice area pages. They should be on your blogs. If, you should have kind of evergreen content and practice areas that are on there that stay on there forever, that have those keywords, then you should be actively writing blogs about the different, if you're a personal injury attorney, do you do dog bites? Is it bicycle accidents? Is it trucking accidents? You should be constantly writing new and fresh content with those keywords on your website.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. So we all know that like SEO and digital marketing can be overwhelming for lawyers and law firms. Like, what are some of the common misconceptions that lawyers have about digital marketing, and like how do you address these? How do you work with people, lawyers?
Uh, the biggest misconception is definitely that it is a quick turnaround time. SEO is a
Okay.
long game. It takes time. There are law firms that have been doing this for 10, 20 years. So you have to kind of prove to Google, hey, why am I better than the guy down the street that has been putting out content and has been in business for 20 or 30 years? So that, would probably be the biggest thing, is just making sure that your reputation is good online. And I would say that would probably be number one.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So that's definitely helpful. So can you talk about any like specific success stories that you've had with attorneys and their law firms, and like how maybe some of your digital marketing strategies have helped them grow?
Sure. So I can't give specifics on exactly all of my attorneys. I mean, we do have case results on lawfirmsites.com that
Yep.
you can go see and check out for yourself. Our biggest thing is that we've always just tried to under promise over deliver to our clients. And we have seen some great success. Again, you can check a lot of it on our website. I don't love to call out my clients specifically without
Sure,
kind of
sure.
first. But we do have over a 90% customer retention rate. So to me,
Wow.
that kind of speaks to our successes.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
That's really impressive. So what do you do like when you have an older law firm come to you, like maybe like an older person who is sort of by the books and like he maybe hands out flyers still and like maybe has like an older website. How do you convince them to like upgrade their website with you?
Well, first, I guess if if they don't want to be convinced, it's very difficult to convince older
Yeah,
attorneys.
it is.
Yes. Yes. So the good news is, I mean, it's not just me trying to sell them something that they're not going to see any sort of value in this day and age and digital marketing, the online presence, the internet. If you don't have a website, you're obsolete at this point,
Sure.
right?
Wow.
So, it's one of those I get a lot of, hey, I get a lot of referrals. I don't need to do this.
Yeah,
I don't need a website. But what's the first thing that a referral is going to do when they've been referred by somebody? Hey, a friend told them, hire my attorney, he's great. Well, they're going to Google them. They're going to see kind of what their online reputation is before they give a call. If they don't even have a website online, that's going to be a red flag
sure.
that, that they don't have an online presence. They don't care that much. So that's generally how I try to persuade them into it.
Sure, sure. So with law firm sites, do your clients like send you different things to update their firms, or do they have or their site, or do they have access to go in there and do it themselves?
Both. So,
Okay.
like I said before, we build all of our sites on WordPress,
Yep.
and we don't own those sites. Our clients own their own websites. I
Okay.
host it for them. I do updates for them, but they own their website 100%. It belongs to them, and they get full access to it. So we give them full access to the back end of their site. They're welcome to make updates as they would like. However, they don't have to. So that's something that we fully provide to them is any and all updates that they need to their site. We will take care of it for them. You go practice law. We'll make those updates
We'll
for you. You
take
don't
care of
have
the
to.
sites.
So it's kind of twofold. We give them both.
Yeah. Where are most of your clients coming from? I know they're probably all over the place, but are you really
Yes.
like is there a certain area that you're getting more clients from?
Sure. So yeah, we're a nationwide company, but the majority of our clients are actually in the state of Florida. I would say
Okay.
35, last I checked, 35% of our entire clientele was in the state of Florida.
Really? Wow.
Yes, yes.
But
Attorneys per square inch. There's a lot in the state of Florida.
there are. We've had some good Miami events too, by the way.
Yeah.
So that's that's awesome. Good for you. Um,
Yeah.
so law firms often rely heavily on referrals and word of mouth.
Mhm.
Like, how do you convince them that investing in digital marketing is just as important as traditional networking? I think we touched on that a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, first of all, any business, any law firm that is getting enough business from referrals, cheers to them, right?
Yeah,
That's the ultimate goal for most businesses, right? But that speaks to their professionalism, how they treat their clients. So that's amazing. So I wouldn't say that digital marketing replaces referrals. To me, it more just enhances it. So a referral is much more powerful. If it's backed up by a strong professional online presence. After hearing about the firm, again, what are people going to do? They're going to Google them. They need to have a Google My Business page that has all of their information. They need to have 5-star reviews. That it's just reaffirming that, hey, I got a referral, to visit your firm. And that's just that second layer of, hey, they are a legit firm. They are credible. I'm going to give them a call. I'm going to hire this law firm.
okay. So you have representatives that build these sites
Mhm.
for the firms, right? So
Yeah.
what is that like the typical? I know you're the rainmaker. You're out there making the sales. You're doing the speeches. You're doing the other stuff. I get that, but like, so what? When a client comes in, like I'm a new law firm, and I say, hey, like this is my branding. Like I like gold and black. I'm doing personal injury. Like, make me a law firm. Like, do you have
Yeah.
like stock photos that you go like somebody slipping on like a banana peel or like Like somebody like in a car crash, or like how does it, like what's the process that somebody will get when they come to law firm sites?
Sure, sure. So ours is generally 4 steps, what our process is.
Okay.
Step one is design. So we sit down and have a design meeting with the client, go over again, yes, do you already have a logo? Do you already have branding? Are you wanting to switch that up? Your color scheme, again, a lot of times they already have that ready to go, but if not, we're happy to help them with that. So we actually provide unlimited like changes and updates in the design phase. So we want our
Okay.
clientele to be completely happy with their website design, their
That's awesome.
branding. So we'll go back and forth as much as they want to ensure that they're happy with the design. Phase two would be actually coding and building out the website.
Okay.
So they've approved it, they love the design. We then we completely code out that custom design onto WordPress, pull over any, existing content that they have, SEO that they have, that we obviously don't want to lose in the process, optimize the back end of the site. Phase three would be we give them a full revision at that point of the site to go through, make sure they're totally happy with everything. And then stage four is launch. And that's when we launch the site. We have our own servers that we host on as well. So yeah, I mean, that's our quick kind of, it's not always quick, but
Yeah.
our step kind of process of what to expect.
Man, I can imagine with these attorneys, like you got some of your reps back there pulling their hair out, like I thought I had it right, and like this attorney comes in and like, no, I don't like this anymore. I want to do this. That's
You know what? I would be lying if I said it didn't happen, but more often than not,
yeah.
again, they're busy. Hey, I like this. Just get it. You know what I mean? Just
Just
get
do
it
it.
done.
Yeah,
Just get
just
it
do
up,
it.
get it launched. I like it. I trust you, so that's generally what it is.
So they can give you photos, and they can have the person, and you get headshots, and you make it look nice, and that's what you
We
guys
also
do.
a lot of times find photographers as well. I have a lot of
Okay?
relationships with photographers in different states
That's
because
awesome.
one of my biggest pet peeves is building them a new beautiful website and their headshot is 30 years old.
Yeah.
And all. So I heavily, kind of push on them. Let's get some updated photos for the website.
Yeah, no, that's definitely good. And what's the toughest thing? Coding and building the whole thing out? Is that
I actually say design is
design? Okay.
harder than the coding and the building, just because of the kind of tweaking and getting it exactly how they want and expressing their brand, making sure it comes across correctly. The coding is easy. That one to me is the easier part
Is it?
than
Okay. I don't
yeah.
really know much about coding, so that's
Yeah.
okay. Um, so like what are your goals for the company, like when you're looking ahead, and like how do you see the digital marketing landscape evolve for law schools, law firms in the coming years?
Sure, sure. So for law firm sites, my main goal has only ever been to be the absolute best at what we're actually providing. Whatever service that is, as we continue to grow, as we expand our services, I just want to be the best at it. I want our customer service to be completely unmatched compared to anybody else in my industry. There are so many web development companies, digital marketing companies out there that give us a bad rap, that again, overpromise, underdeliver. So I put my name and my face on everything we do because I completely believe in what we can actually deliver. So as far as evolving in the digital marketing industry, there's a few things I feel very passionate about. I'm going to bring it up again, is the importance of Google reviews. Google reviews have really started to weigh in on SEO and your actual ranking for where you're going to show up. If, you're neck and neck with another firm for personal injury attorney, Lehigh, Utah, and they have 4.9 reviews and they've got 200 of them and you are at a 3.5 with 2 reviews, Google will put them over you every
Wow.
single time. You will be outranked. So something I've been pushing really hard to my clients and that is only growing here with Google over the next few years is the importance of those 5-star reviews on your Google My Business page.
But okay, that's I've definitely heard a lot about that, like in the law firm space. People want the review, or they'll ask for a review and that sort of thing.
Yeah. It just
That's
creates that credibility, right? That trustworthiness. There's no better salesman for a law firm than their own clientele, right?
right.
That let your clientele sell your firm for you. It doesn't take a lot to ask your clientele
Yeah.
to please leave us a review. Are you happy with our services? Would you mind leaving us a review? So that's I've been pushing it home to everybody here and my employees and everyone, and even for us, it's extremely important.
Are you guys all virtual, like where you work? Are
We are
you
not.
remote?
So
Oh,
we
okay.
Yeah, we actually have an office here in Lehi, Utah.
That's
A
great.
brand new one. Yeah, I'm like in our conference room.
Yeah,
Um, so
nice. I
yeah,
noticed that. That was nice. I was looking at
yeah.
it before. I'm like law firm side because it looked like a E in the middle for a second. Because right, I was like Lower East Side, New York. Wait, Law Firm Side. It's really nice, sleek. I like it.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so we actually have a brick and mortar, place here right here in Lehi, Utah. So we love it here.
That's great. What do you see as the top trends in digital marketing for law firms in the next few years, and
Oh
how
God, I'm gonna go back to it. I mean, it's SEO.
SEO?
It's one of those that I get asked it every year. I think I make a video on it every single year on, hey, what are the new trends? What are this? It's more we stay so hard focused and hard pressed on SEO because it is the best, most effective long-term digital strategy. There's going to be a lot of short-term stuff and that's trendy and that's coming out and but SEO is it's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. I could talk on AI. I feel like it's
Yeah,
played out. I feel like everybody's talking about it constantly. I'm like, SEO is, if you're looking for long term, if you're looking for something that's going to keep your online presence going and help build that ranking, it's going to be SEO.
okay. Um, so speaking of SEO, so you probably see a lot of these law firms have digital badges from different organizations that they belong to. Um, in fact, we're going to be offering one with Lawyer Stories Connect. We have a nice sleek badge for the website. How exactly does that work in SEO
Sure.
terms? So like like
Yeah.
I have a Dropbox, people can go in and get their badge and then
So as long as, and I can help you with this too, if you don't already have it set up to be giving to them,
oh, thank you.
as long as it's backlinked to your site and your site has good, site authority, domain authority. So those are incredible backlinks. So you can put badges on your site all day long,
Yeah,
right? Making sure that it is backlinked to Avo or Super Lawyers or Lawyer Stories or wherever it is.
yeah,
That linking helps to gain, raise up your credibility too
yeah.
on your and help your ranking.
Because I have clicked on some where they don't even have it linked anymore. It's just sort of like a picture, it's
That
just
doesn't
sort of
do
a
anything for
picture.
you.
But
Yeah,
if somebody like Smith and Smith, whatever law firm,
yeah.
takes the digital badge, and by the way, you'll get one for being on the Lawyer Stories podcast. We have a
Awesome.
guest like a little badge that we give out. But anyway, so they they put the badge excuse me on their website, Smith and Smith, and then they have to like backlink it somehow. They go into their website or they have their administrator backlink it to
Mhm.
the lawyerstories.com
Correct.
or what other
Correct.
page, like maybe they wanted to backlink to like their YouTube version of the podcast, and that helps build.
It definitely does. YouTube very much helps, because Google owns YouTube. So
Okay,
they want you doing anything on YouTube. So I'm like highly suggest anybody that's doing any sort of videos, even if you're doing reels, that should go onto YouTube for sure. But yes, so anytime that you're putting a badge on there, yes, it shows to your credibility, right? As a firm, or hey, I was on Lawyer Stories podcast. Hey, I'm a super lawyers, rated
right,
attorney. It needs to actually be backlinked to whatever that site is to actually help the back end of your site. So that's something that your web developer can do for you. I can do
yeah,
to get
awesome.
that linked on somebody's website. It's fairly simple. But and there's also a way for Lawyer Stories if when you're giving those badges to be able to create a code snippet that they could just copy and paste to put on their site, and then it would automatically go on their site and link back to Lawyer Stories.
Oh, really? Okay, that's
Yeah,
interesting. So,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, I just have it as like a Dropbox link, and then they'd have to go, or a Dropbox, they put it on there, and then whoa, hey, and then sorry about that, and then they'd have to go and backlink it. So that's interesting, and they could really backlink it anywhere that they want to go. How many of those links does it take to like actually to do something? You know what I mean? To like make a difference in your SEO.
A lot. That's one of those, again, it kind of you build over time.
Yeah.
If Google would recognize if you went and bought 2,000 links, backlinks, and then all of a sudden those were on the back end of your site and they're not relative to law or anything that you're doing. So
Okay.
Google is smarter than us. A lot of people think they can outsmart it.
So
They're
people literally, that's interesting. So people
uh,
literally like go buy like backlinks to just like random websites. Like say somebody
mhm,
had a website about NFL football. They
mhm.
went and they bought just like a bunch of backlinks to like whatever,
Yeah.
like
Yes. And We've had to clean multiple sites that have come to us that they have done that kind of strategy where they're like, well, hey, I bought 2,000 backlinks. It should be helping my ranking. And we
That are
get on,
not, and they're not relevant to the
and they're
actual
not
website.
relevant. It'll be like beard.com and tribal lamps, or, you know what I mean? Like
Trouble.
pumpkins.org. It won't be anything that actually relates to law or the service they
Okay.
provide. And that actually can start to hurt you.
Really?
Yes, Google will actually, because it's just one of those kind of black hat SEO, the things you shouldn't be doing, and that Google will eventually find you and mark you on that. So you just credible backlinks though, they are more difficult to get. The best ones to get are by far like .gov, .edu. So we suggest to our attorneys all the time to offer scholarships. That's something that your firm can do so that you get like the .edu backlinks, put a page on your site offering $1,000 scholarship to, a kid in your area. And then you go out to the local schools and they'll put it on their site, and getting those backlinks like .edu are.
So walk me through that. So the backlink, I get confused by the backlink stuff.
Sure.
So you put it on your site, say you're offering this $1,000 scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
On your site goes like, click here to apply for the scholarship.
Yes.
And like that brings you to a .edu, or a .gov, like if that's where the scholarship is.
The best is when it's going on to like the .edu, like onto their website. So let's say Utah State University, I'm just picking that out because that's where my son is currently. So, if you contact Utah State University, say, hey, I'm offering a scholarship, they actually have big scholarship pages on their website that will, hey, yourfirm.com, this law firm is offering this, and which will link to their site. So that's the best way to get it, is when they're actually putting it on their site.
They have to put it, they need to do it on their site. You can't just toss it on your site.
They do. That's when you get kind of the best results from those backlinks.
So the people who are putting like the beer.com and the lamp site, they just put that down there, and like beer.com didn't even if they did put it on their site, the SEO would not have mattered.
It would not have mattered.
Okay.
Eventually it would not have mattered. Again, that's one of those, some people were doing it 15 years ago, like when they were buying, 2,000 different URLs. That used to be a thing back in the day for SEO. You could just buy every single, URL under the sun, link it to the same website and gain some rankings. So Google has changed how they do things a lot of times over the years. And that's definitely one of them.
So how does law firm site encourage their clients to get the best SEO results? Like, are you saying, so we have a website, thelawyerstories.com. We couldn't get lawyerstories.com. This was like a while ago. And I think we did move over to WordPress, and, I want to really get going, like as we build Lawyer Stories, connect with the backlinks and with the blog. We also keep some of our podcasts there and like that sort of thing. It's just a little more inconsistent than I'd like it to be. But like, what is the piece of the website that you sort of like encourage your clients to use the most?
Well, it's ongoing relative content is the best thing you can be doing for your website and for your SEO and for your ranking. So, there are these websites, these firms that have been around for 15, 20 years that have been actively putting on relevant content onto their site consistently. And that's what Google loves to see. So if you think that having a one-page website just to have your name on it, that you're ever going to outrank somebody that has 2,000 pages of relative content on, again, personal injury or whatever, family law, you're never going to outrank them. So Google wants to see that your business is relevant, that it is consistently, up with the trend of whatever that industry is, and that they're pumping out, good informative content to the end user that's looking for them. So that to me would be the biggest thing. It's whether that's, constantly making FAQ pages on your site, blogging on your site. There's a lot that you can do. You can beef up your practice area pages, creating YouTube videos, making that content into a YouTube video, a reel, a short, and then linking that back onto your site. That's all content, just in different forms. So it's just staying up to the latest with, hey, I'm the most relevant firm in my area. I'm putting out relevant content for the end user that's going to help them. So that would be the biggest thing, is just that content. Be consistent. Don't push out, 18 pages of content in one day and then publish nothing for 6 months. Google wants to see that you're relevant and that you're active.
Yeah, it sounds like a race that's kind of complicated, actually. I mean, maybe for you it's not, but it seems complicated. That's why I think everybody needs to have a professional website.
Sure. It is complicated, and it's still complicated for me. I'm learning every single day. I wish that I knew everything. I definitely don't. And here's the thing, the second that you think you know something, Google changes it. So they make that
That's
not
right.
relevant anymore. So you've got to just kind of stay up with it. And it is difficult. It's again, the majority of it is consistency, just being consistent with what you're doing and don't stop. It'll pay off for you.
Eventually. Okay, good. So what are the most effective ways to like measure the success of your digital marketing efforts?
I would say the biggest thing is having a solid intake system in place. Now, whatever that is, Lead Docket, Clio Grow, HubSpot, a Google Doc, whatever it is, just use it. Keep track of absolutely where everything is coming in. Where are your leads coming from? Do you even know? Are they coming from your website? Are they coming from social media? Is it just the phone ringing, if you have billboards out? So knowing exactly where all of your leads are coming from, what leads are turning into real cases, but having some sort of system in place, intake in place, that you're actually tracking all of that. That way you know where to invest your money moving forward. It's something that I had to kind of build here at law firm sites. A lot of times and when you're new at business, you're throwing things out of the wall, not knowing where every single lead is coming from, where every dollar is spent.
Right.
So that would be my biggest thing is just making sure that you have a completely organized intake system and you know where every single dollar is going and then where every single case came from.
Totally. That's a great, I think that's a great response. So like why should people come to law firm sites?
People should come to law firm sites mainly because of our employees and our service and what we provide.
Okay.
You'll never have to come to us for an update. So we're going to over communicate consistently
Right.
about where you're at, what you're getting. If a client is ever calling in and saying, "Hey, I haven't heard from one of your employees," that would be a massive, massive deal to me. So, and a sit down and let's go over kind of, our clients should always be number one and what they're getting. Their results are extremely important, but being that advocate for them and overly communicating is our biggest thing here.
I think that's great. I love to hear that
Thank
because
you.
a lot of people are very poor communicators these days.
Yes.
So what they really are. But so, and obviously like Lawyer Story is all about like communication and,
Sure.
being connected to everybody that we know and trying to, elevate and amplify people. But anyway, enough about us. So, how do we, so there are a lot of like different ways to get websites done now, or like there's, you see people out there messing around with AI who
Yeah.
probably going to take everybody's job, right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
what it looks like. It's kind of like people are like threatened that it's going to take every type of job out there,
Yeah.
most jobs. And then you got like a lot of foreign like places abroad. I want to be very politically correct by however I choose to use this, but you got like foreign places that you could send like, which is amazing. They do good work, like making clips out there, and doing reels. And I use people, and so how do you like how do you compete against that? Like when you see maybe people are out there like, oh, I have an existing site, but I need somebody to like update it for me like every week. Is that has that been difficult? And like, how do you sort of navigate that?
Like for me specifically for law firm sites,
Yeah,
I quiet the noise of my competitors.
good.
I used to be, it's one of those you kind of get into
Yep.
it. And when I first bought the company and I'm like, what is this person doing? And following
Yep.
them. And it's funny because I saw a clip of, Jeff Bezos talking about Amazon. And he just said, we stopped worrying about what our competitors were doing and focused on the client experience.
Yes.
And then the clients just naturally came to you, right?
I
Or the
love that.
so that I quiet the noise. I
Yep.
welcome competitors. I'm friends with a lot of my
Yep.
competitors. We talk,
Yep.
we're in the same industries. We share war stories, right? But I'm way more focused on what we're doing, what we're
Right.
providing, and not exactly what they're
And
doing.
you just have to think like it's abundant out there, right? There's like enough for
100%.
everybody. But I really do, Joe, I really like that answer about quiet the noise,
Yeah.
because I go through some of the same stuff. I went through some of that,
Sure.
but I mean, on a different level. But, I think that that's so important to just focus on like what you're doing and not the person to your left or your right or your competitors. So that is some really good advice. So I appreciate
It's like,
that.
how can you be your best self when you're so worried about what everybody else is
Yeah,
doing?
because there's always going to be somebody that's going to like try to, even if it's not intentional, they're just going to try to like flip you off your path, and
Oh,
you really
100%.
just got to do you and
We've heard that in our sales calls and stuff too. You'll never ever hear me bad mouthing what somebody else has done on their site or their competitor or to build us up. We'll get that a lot of the time. A client will be like, "Hey, one of your competitors emailed me saying that this and this and this wasn't done correctly," trying
Oh,
to
that's a
get
little
a sale.
that's a little messed up, but
So it's one of those. I'm like, I don't run my business that way. I'm not
yeah,
here to bring other companies down. Everybody's great in their own way. I'm way more focused on just delivering what I say I'm going to do.
yeah, I think that's tremendous. Joe, did we touch on everything? Like, did you want to talk more about law firm sites? Is there anything that we missed?
I don't think so. I think we did pretty good.
Yeah, I think that was really good.
Good.
Yeah, stay right there.
Okay,
And Joe Stevenson. Wait, hold on.
Stevens.
Joe Stevens.
Close.
It
So
was
close.
it was right in front of me. Sorry, Joe Stevens. Law firm sites out in Utah, but covering everywhere. Check them out. Joe Stevens, thanks so much for coming on. And everybody else, excuse me, Joe, stay there. Everybody else, wherever you are in the world today, enjoy yourselves. Cheers.